Welcome to episode 20 of Chit Chat. We invited a guest to talk about our most anticipated releases at next week's Origin convention and give you the lowdown on where to meet up with us at the show, while we also discuss all the other wonderful games that we've been playing.
Welcome back to Chit Chat. This is episode 20. For those of you keeping score, that is 3 more than my lucky number. It's actually 7 less than the age of our guest host here, Derek Funkhouser. And it's actually 27 less than my age, which is sad because that's how old you are. But welcome back to Chit Chat.
Someone's figuring this out in their head.
Yeah, you can do all the math later. But as always, we have Ryan, me, and Jeremy. And like I said, our guest host here, Derek Funkhouser.
From the Board Game Spotlight.
That's right. Here with the Board Game Spotlight. Thank you for the...
Tell people what Board Game Spotlight is for they haven't watched your show, maybe.
Okay, so the Board Game Spotlight is a Facebook group, and we do Kickstarter previews and reviews, and we do live streams via our Facebook group, and we've grown. We actually just hit 10,000 members.
Nice!
Yeah, so
Very
that
nice.
was really, really cool. We did a really fun giveaway, and we have a lot of things planned. We have a YouTube channel that's going to launch here soon.
Cool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Cool.
So, that's awesome.
Yeah, and we've known Derek for a while, but we hung out quite a bit at CMON Expo
right.
a few weeks ago. And if you haven't seen some of his posts, there's a fantastic photo bomb he did on one of our
That's
pictures.
right.
So
That
you
was
have to go check
an
that
epic
out.
level
Just
photo
look under.
bomb.
I forget whose arm it is, but he's under someone's arm.
I'm under my friend's arm, Justin Gibbons.
Oh, that's right. That's
yeah,
right.
so that was a fun photo bomb. Seize the opportunity, right?
So, we're going to talk about Origins, but before we get to Origins, we're going to talk about who won our contest last time and about our contest this week.
Yeah, so every week we give away a game. Last week we gave away Dojo Kun. The winner is Lee Trifone. I'm not sure that's your real name. If it is your real name, make a comment below or email Man vs. Meeple and let us know where we need to send your copy off to. And this week we're giving away Way of the Panda
Speaking of
from
CMON Expo.
CMON Games, so
Yep.
another game from them. Again, to enter, all you have to do is make a comment below and you're automatically entered.
All you got to do. Just do it. All right. So we're going to talk about Origins, and this is going to be pretty loose. Sometimes we do like, here's our top 10 games we're looking forward to, this and that. We're each going to have 2 games we're going to focus on that we're looking forward to. These might be for sale. They might be for demo, whatever. We're going to go through that and then talk a little bit about what we've been playing. So let's start with Origins.
Let's talk about what Origins is first. Origins
Yeah.
is a convention. It's 5 days, so it's a
Very long one.
It's a long convention. It's in Columbus, Ohio, and it's got an exhibit hall quite similar to PAX East or PAX Unplugged and Gen Con and so forth. But it's really all about community and gaming, right?
Yeah.
And speaking of community, we are having our first meetup at Origins on Thursday night.
We're kind of tagging along on Thursday night, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Do you remember the name of the place?
Callahan's.
Callahan's. We were super prepared for this. With the folks from Blue Peg, Pink Peg, and the Brawling Brothers, of course. It was their meetup, to be quite honest, and we kind of said, hey, can we come? So
right.
they put us on the billing as well. So we're all going to be there, so definitely come over to Callahan's, 7 p.m. Thursday night, if you want to get a chance to meet us idiots and some of the people from Blue Peg, Pink
we'll be
Peg,
here.
and
And
Some
Brawling
free
Brothers.
games, too.
Yeah.
And we're going to
give.
give away free games. It's
And-
going to be fun time. So
Yeah, it'll be fun.
definitely show up for that.
You guys have everyone here has been to Origins before.
I have not been
You
to
have
Origins.
not been to
This will be
Origins.
my
Origins.
first Origins. I'm very excited.
Origins is
Very excited.
It's so great because it is a smaller convention, at least than Gen Con or Essen, but it brings in a lot of big names still.
It's a lot like Gen Con.
It is like it's
But,
like Gen Con's little brother.
like hit with just a slight shrink rate. It's not tiny by any means, but it's like a smaller version, so the gaming is
There's
better,
a lot of
I think.
focus on gaming.
right,
They
there
have,
is a
a,
lot of
they have a
focus
lot
on
of
gaming.
space throughout the convention hall, not only in the hall itself, but throughout the convention hall where you can go play games 24/7, really.
The pace is much slower than Gen
Absolutely,
Con. It's not everything's not just a rush to get from one place to the other. So you get to actually like relax and maybe even demo a full game. You're not gonna have lines of people
Right.
The
waiting.
vendor
and-
hall doesn't seem as insane or overwhelming as Gen Con might feel to some people. Although we love that too. But Origins is a nice place to get some games.
The other thing we
played.
should mention is on Saturday night we're hosting the
Yes.
awards.
Yeah, the
So
Annie
It's the
Awards,
second
or
year
the
we'll be
Origins
hosting the
Awards.
Origin Award show. How many categories are there this year?
Oh,
About
there's
10 categories.
There's about 10 categories or something like that. There's a lot of nominees for some of those categories. But yeah, Jeremy and I had the chance to MC the event last year and had fun with
It
it.
was awesome.
We're going to
time.
hopefully have just as much fun doing it this year. be a little bit more prepared. We were doing a lot of last-minute work on the fly while we were there last time, so we'll have everything together a little bit sooner this year. But that is a good time too. If you've never been to the award ceremony, it's really, I think, gotten better and better. Certainly after we've been involved, right?
Maybe.
Is that right?
Maybe.
I'd like to say so, right?
All right.
I'd like to
Well,
at
so
least think so.
let's talk about the games of Origins.
Let's talk
Who
about-
wants to start?
I'll go. Let's go this way.
Sure.
Go
That
whichever
way I can try to pick
But
something.
I want to
you guys
say,
are- what, were you going to say something?
yeah, there's something more important than games coming out like that is at Origins. And that's Jenny's Ice Cream, which is
Oh,
right across
that's
from the
true.
convention
If you've
center.
never been to
So,
Origins,
like,
people talk about all the different conventions. Everyone's always comparing like the food, and I don't even remember what's the name of the place.
that, like market,
The market.
North Market.
Is it North Market?
It's the North Market, yeah.
It's this one of those sort of
2 blocks
indoor
away.
vent, like not food. Food court is too dismissive a term
Yeah.
for what the North Market is. So you go there. They have a lot of fantastic food. One of which is Jenny's Ice Cream, which you can actually get
world
around
famous.
here now. By the way, if you go to Kroger, but for a pint it's like $12 or something like that here. But it's really good ice cream. So definitely check that out.
Random thought. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
It's my most anticipated thing about Origins.
All right, I'm going
And
to
he
talk
brings up
about...
a good point because one thing I've heard about Origins is that North Market.
Oh, it's
And how,
fantastic.
Like, it's where everybody goes for
It's
lunch.
like a farmer's
You
market.
have to go there.
Yeah.
You have to go
Kind
there.
of
The
an Origins
food,
experience.
Yeah,
Yep.
indeed.
All right, two
Start.
games.
Games.
Game number 1. For people who have watched our show in the past, there's 2 games that are in my top 10 list of all time. Actually, my 1 and 2.
Can I name them?
You can. Go for it. You already know them.
Zulkin.
Yeah, this is my number 2.
That's your number 2?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and Chua.
And Twa. Twa's my number 1. This year marks kind of the re-implementation of both of those games. So the first one coming out is Teotihuacan. It's from the same designer as Zulkin. We played it at Gamma. Love the game. Like I already like Zulkin. I already like the designer. And I cannot wait to actually get the physical, done, published version of it in our hand. So
I
I'll
don't
be
think
handing
he's
that
done a
off
bad
to us.
game yet.
Oh, they're handing off a newer prototype than what we...
A done, finished copy.
Oh, boy. That'll be
So,
exciting. That'll
Yeah,
be
at
exciting.
Origins. And my number 1, Black Angel, which won't be there, but Black Angel is by the same designer did Twa, and that's also coming out this year. I think at Essen. I wish it was at Origins. And grab that for me,
Oh,
because you got to show that. So this is the graphic novel adventures from Van Ryder Games. It was kickstarted, roughly $80, I think, for all of these. It will be for sale at Origins, and they're basically graphic novel adventures. I mean, it's
Yeah,
why they
they're
call it
kinda
that
like-
way.
kind of
It's
a
like the
choose your
old-
own
but the
adventure,
old
but
choose your
graphic
own
novel
adventure.
version,
And when
right?
you look at these games, they have like character sheets in them where you're going to be filling out your character stuff, and then you'll be going through this adventure leveling up. There's one of them that takes place in the Old West, in which you're going to be buying buildings and then plotting them onto your map.
Oh,
and for those
that's
people like
cool.
me who don't want to
Awesome.
like bend their spines or write in their book, you can actually download all of the writable content and then play
really?
it on that and then pass off the books to friends and whatnot.
Is the art style different in all
And
of
every
these?
single one of them, it's different artists.
cool.
But it's
That's
really,
quite
really
the
good art.
achievement.
Yeah, I can't wait to play
You're
them.
saying this
That
is going to
was-
be on sale at Origins?
It will be on sale at Origins.
Wow.
And for someone like me who picked, I picked Legacy of Dragonhold as in my top 10 last year. It's got that same feel to it as well. So it's just, I mean, it's a great game when you're on the couch one weekend or you're sick or, you know, you just want to play something by yourself and no one's around. This is a perfect style of game to play.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Those look
My
amazing
turn?
in that
turn.
presentation.
So I'll be brief. One of them is Coimbra. They're going to have, I believe, a very,
100
very
copies
soft
ordering.
launch.
Yeah.
Like 100 copies? It is? Like 100, very limited number of copies at Origins to get. This is I don't know, is it dice drafting? You're using dice, you're drafting dice, you're using them out on this board in kind of a worker placement scenario. They've been Plan B's been threatening to get a copy of this game in our hands for a while now, and I think we're finally going to be able to play it at Origins. So I'm really looking forward to that, and it'll be the finished copy.
Well, I think the reason why we want to play it so badly is because of the design pedigree. I mean, these are from the same guys that did Grand Austria Hotel,
Marco
Polo. A lot of those Euro games that
we
we
love
so much.
Yeah, I can't think of a game those guys have done that I don't like. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then also, this one's Gorus Maximus.
Yeah.
And I got a chance to play, I wouldn't even say a prototype. It was the super rough prototype version of this at Gamma with Connor Magui, who is the publisher of this from Inside Up Games. This is a trick-taking game based on a very comical sort of gladiator look to it, and Kwanchai Moria is doing the artwork, which I know Connor was super thrilled about, as will everyone be. Yeah. It's one of those trick-taking games like a lot of them recently, but it has its own unique twists where you're able to change trump by playing the same card that someone had just played, the same number, but changing the suit by playing that same card. And you can also, can't remember exactly how it works, which is why I want to demo it again. And he's going to kill me for not knowing this. But I think there's a way where you can kind of turn it, and instead of, like if you play the 1 or the low card, it can sometimes take the trick depending on what other cards have been played. It's a really interesting take on trick-taking for sure. So definitely want to check that out. And I think it's going to be a Kickstarter maybe around the exact same time. I think he's
June 11th.
Yeah, he's going to launch it right around
June
the same
11th.
time.
Yeah.
So wish you luck, Connor.
What you got, Derek?
All right, so I'd like to talk about the Stonebound Saga. It is a tactical, kind of like an RPG type game. So if you think back to Final Fantasy Tactics or that type of realm, and I previewed this. It was one of the first games I previewed on Kickstarter, and I had a blast with this game. The artwork is just unbelievable. When you see this game on the table, it just draws your eye. And so you play with the cards, you play with a team, and you're going to cast spells and deal damage, and all of the characters are variable. They all have variable powers. So there is a ton of replayability and just understanding the intricacies and the ins and outs of how each character plays. It's a really fascinating game.
Who made this? I haven't heard of it.
I'm drawing a blank on the publisher right now.
Is it? Did you say
This
it
was
was
our
just a
first game,
card
though.
game?
It was. It is a card game.
No, it's
Just
not
cards?
just cards.
Well, there's cards and dice, and there's a player board that tracks all of your information as far as health, points, and experience. And there are no miniatures, though. So you play your characters on a card that is played on the battlefield, and so you move this character or characters around the battlefield as your miniature.
Kind of
Okay.
like a Mage Wars.
So
kind
there
of
is
vibe.
a
Situation.
battlefield of sorts.
Yes, there is a
you-
board,
okay.
and you move around, and it's very tactical.
Is it just 2 players, or is
It's 2 to 6, I believe.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to look that up because that name sounds familiar too.
heard
Is
of
there a
it.
Wait,
video
it was
game?
on. It was on Kickstarter.
It was on Kickstarter, yeah, and he's
But was it ever a digital game?
not that I'm aware.
Not that
I
I'm
don't think
aware of
so.
either.
The name sounds very.
Because I know
familiar.
you were following it too.
Yeah, I've been following it for a while. It looks really.
it does.
I never knew a lot about it other than
Sure.
like looking at it. But it's one of those games you look at and you think I got to know more.
You want to know
this.
more about it?
I'll have to
Absolutely.
check it out.
yeah, I've not heard of
It'll
it.
be there for sale actually.
Yeah, he should have it for sale.
Oh,
He is
wow.
going to be fulfilling that very soon.
Okay.
So what's your next game?
Next game, let's talk about Escape Plan from Vital Lacerda.
Yeah.
So Escape Plan is going to be demoed.
Oh, I was
It's
gonna say, that's
out.
not
no,
for sale.
No, it's not for
Okay.
sale. It's not for sale. This is a demo game. Unfortunately, I want it to come out very soon. I love Lacerda's work, with Lisboa being his favorite of mine. So Escape Plan has this heist type situation where you're trying to escape, and I think you rob a bank, right?
It's like
But
it takes place
semi-co-op.
after the
right.
robbery.
So it's
Yeah.
after the robbery, and you're
When you
trying
have to have
escape.
your
escape plan.
You have to have your escape plan. And I don't know if you've looked at any of the images they have for this game, but the player boards are actually going to be like your suitcase or like your luggage.
Oh, I haven't seen the components.
The components and the way that they've designed all of this is very thematic to like the actual theme.
Or if like
It's
you
an
can,
interesting theme for him.
It's kind of
for
co-op,
sure.
but you can also like betray your
Right.
teammates.
That's why
right?
it's kind of a
And,
semi-co-op.
you're like stashing money certain places, and you have to go. You can like stash your money and then come back and get it. And
Is it supposed to be as heavy as his normal fare?
I've heard it's not. I
No,
heard
it's
he's
not.
known
I
for
do
the,
not believe so.
the heavy style game.
you're
I
not
think
looking
this
at
is
like
more
another
of a-
Lisboa.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I think it's
Interesting.
probably going to be one of his
That might be more of my speed then.
Cool.
It looks great. I'm really excited about it. So
Alright.
I'll be demoing that one.
Yeah, so
Cool.
everybody knows that like I love those heavy Euro games. That I'm excited about Coimbra, but the 2 games I picked that I'm really excited about getting out have been out in Europe for a while, but they're both coming out in the States for the first time at Origins, and I think they're both going to be huge sellouts. And the first one is The Mind, which you've probably heard us talk about. The Mind. You've probably heard other people talk about The Mind. It is
Yeah.
it is the gaming sensation that's just spreading across the community
The
right
nation.
now.
Were you about to say nation?
The nation.
You were gonna say nation.
That's it, the board game nation.
We'll edit that after.
the craze of the nation. But The Mind, I mean, it's just such a clever, unique way to use cards,
Yeah.
honestly. And it just, I've played it, and it seems kind of silly when you hear how it's played. You're just playing cards in order. That's it.
It does.
But
I will say that for
When
a
you start
fact,
to play
it
and
sounds
then-
silly.
you've got a 64 in your hand, and somebody plays 59, and then you have stop and like watch. I mean, it just has this sensation that like no other game has.
You do have to
emulated.
Experience it because
Right,
what
you
you
have to
just said
experience
didn't make it
Like,
any
it
better.
doesn't sound fun. It
No,
doesn't.
you're right.
Like, to me, like when you say that, like somebody say, "What's the fun in that?" It's like wait and see.
No, yeah, you do. And I've watched people like play it just 2-player, and you do get a much better appreciation for it when you've watched
It's
it
like
played.
you
You
feel
really
like
do.
you're holding that card. You feel like the sweat dripping down. You're looking around. Who makes a move first? Like
It is an experience.
It's interesting.
It is.
It's very
not something that
interesting.
comes across well when explaining
No, and it
it.
was nominated for the Spiel this
Yes.
year.
Yeah,
So obviously, like,
well,
it
a
has
lot
some
of
meat
people
to
are
it,
picking
so-
it as their favorite.
Yeah.
which is
It is on a
crazy.
lot of favorite
Yeah.
lists.
And the other one is one I think we've done a review on Man vs. Meeple. We've played a ton of, and that's Welcome to,
Oh yeah.
which is not.
So neither one of these are heavy games.
No, that's what I said. Neither one of these are heavy games, which
You should have taken Escape Plan.
I should have taken Escape Plan Coimbra. I'm very excited about, but Welcome to, I'm really into roll and rights right now. Like I love, if Gons was coming out at
Gosh,
Origins,
sounds
that would have been
clever.
on my list too. But it's just a really cool implementation of that roll and write where you're not rolling, you're flipping cards off of a deck, you're taking actions. We actually played it earlier today. You
We
had
did.
never played it.
I had
which-
never played, and I am a huge
Oh, you
fan.
haven't?
I had not played.
No, it's really good. I like Gons and Knock'em a lot, but they feel very abstract, right? Whereas Welcome to brings in a theme that and it doesn't feel tacked on. It feels like the game was built around that theme, which
Yeah, and you have a lot of options
really
every
cool.
turn.
I
I
agree
mean,
with you.
Yeah.
You're not really going to run into situations where you can't do anything until the very end of the game, in which case that ends the game anyway.
Right.
So you're not just sitting there like in Knock'em even, you could just sit there and go turn after turn,
Yeah.
not being able to do
Yeah.
anything.
And one thing, a lot of people associate roll and rights with dice, right? But psychologically, the way the cards come off is just as random as dice would be. But you don't think about that. You're
It
like, okay,
feels
what are the next
different.
cards? It feels different. So psychologically,
Yeah.
you don't. So if you don't like dice, probably a game
Right.
that you'll want to take a look at.
And this is by no means an entire list of all the great games coming out of Origins.
not at all.
If
No,
you guys are
this-
interested in a pretty solid list, go to BGG. Eric Martin did a great job of highlighting some of those titles
like a
that should
couple
be there.
hundred
But
on
there's
there.
always some
There are.
surprises as well, which is fantastic. That's what we enjoy so much, is walking around to each of those booths and seeing not only what they have to offer for sale right then, but what also they may have in the future as well.
I
So.
think we've discovered a lot of games just from walking around.
Oh,
and-
absolutely. Absolutely. Things that probably aren't on the list are things that we would probably just gravitate to not look at initially until we sit down and play.
Yeah, that's
so.
fun. Every time we go, Teotihuacan was one when we went to Gamma. We had no
We had
idea
no
we were
idea
going
it
to
was
see
gonna
it,
be
and
there.
we did, and
My eyes went,
Teotihuacan, right?
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the games that we have been playing. You want to go in the same order? Or want to go reverse?
Let's go reverse.
Let's snake it.
Let's
Come back
reverse. I
around
have to
this
talk
way.
again. I just got done
We're
talking.
going to do it just like Grand Austria Hotel.
We've been well. So with Derek in town, we had quite a game day. We played a bunch of games today. We actually did some streaming with the Board Game Spotlight, which
We
was
did.
a lot of fun.
That was a blast.
And we played. You're gonna have to help me with the name here. Was it Shards
Shards of Infinity.
which is a new deck building game from Upper Deck, right?
Ultra Pro
Or Ultra
and
Pro.
Stoneblade.
Yeah, and it's kind of a.
It's by Justin Gary. I saw that name on there. He's the same guy that did Ascension.
Yeah, it is by
Yes.
the same
Oh,
guy that
really?
did
Correct.
Ascension, and
Yep.
this feels like
I haven't
an
played it.
evolution of Ascension for sure. It feels like a much tighter Star Realms. It's kind of what it
does.
feels like. Whereas I think Star Realms took a lot of its inspiration from Ascension. They've gone back and kind of combined those into this deck building game. I mean, you still got factions. You're still dealing damage to the opponent, but those synergies between the cards and the way it encourages you to both focus on one faction and also to branch out to other factions.
Right.
Everything feels way more focused and way tighter, and it was a blast.
It was a blast. It was those type of game where you just immediately want to play it again, reset it, and just keep going, because you can see different synergies and different combos that you have explored in a previous game that you just found out about, and you can continue to go off that.
Yeah, and
I like the mercenary ability as well, where you can choose.
It's something I've never seen in a deck builder before.
Right, this is a new thing I've never seen used before, but you can pay the cost of a card that's in the market row just for its ability, just at that moment in time when you really need it, and that card goes to the bottom of the deck, and a new one comes out. So you don't have to take the card into your deck, you can just use its ability and move on.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
And still paying the full cost.
You're still
of it?
paying the cost of the card, but you're gaining the ability instead
when
of
you need it.
when you need it the most.
Instead of putting it in your discard pile, maybe
That's interesting.
like when
Particularly if
you're-
it was a good sort of like situational card that you just don't want to clog up.
or
your deck
or like
with.
you really need a life gain boost right now, or you're going to lose
or
the game.
a
You can-
mastery, or even damage.
Oh,
and
that's
then I want to talk about one other thing really quick.
Sure.
I don't want to. I played so many, but I'm going to focus on these two because these were maybe my two favorites. That and was it Blue Lagoon,
Blue Lagoon.
Oh,
the
fun,
new
yeah.
Panizia game,
Yeah.
which
Brooke
is
Shields? No.
which was phenomenal. And I think we just posted a review of it, so go
Yeah.
watch that review, take a look because that game is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Gen Con release?
Gen Con.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great new gateway game for sure.
All right.
All right, I guess.
So what did you play that weren't those games that you played
Ryan
also
just
with him?
stole my thunder.
Oh, did I really? Sorry.
No, it's okay. I really enjoyed today playing Welcome to and just a slew of other games. For me, probably my favorite game I've recently played is Gone Shown Clever. Had not had a chance to play that. I received it from overseas because it's not in the U.S. yet, but just an absolutely clever game. Really see what I did there. See what I did there. You said I'm not funny.
Yeah.
Really just enjoyed the combo with the roll and write. Just seeing the different. It's super combo, right?
Yeah.
You do one thing and then you realize that changed to this, which then opens up this combination, and it's just very, very fun to roll and write, but then see that it's a point salad.
Well,
right,
yeah.
everything you do gives you points.
Those combos are awesome.
They really
Once
are.
those combos start firing off.
Super satisfying.
Is there many other roll and writes that get that satisfaction?
Not
it's
But I-
crazy.
no,
Not
not the
that I've
combo
played,
like
not
that.
like that.
Combo
The combo
firing
like
in that
that.
game is ridiculous.
It is-
and
it
that's a
is very
Spiel
good.
nominee, right?
It was.
That's
It's
also
a,
Spiel
I believe it's a
nominee, yep.
Kenner
Kenner
Spiel.
Spiel.
Also
I
by the
believe
same
so.
guy that did the Mind.
Correct.
So he's got,
That's right.
I think
He's
it
up
is,
there, man.
yeah, like Wolfgang
He's having a
Warsch,
good
is that-
year. Yeah, he's having a
Yeah,
good
definitely
year.
good year. Anything else?
Yeah, another thing that I've really enjoyed playing recently is Dragon Castle. Just received that at Simon Expo, and I've been teaching it to a lot of people. My family especially really likes it, so I like that nice twist on the mahjong. Definitely enjoy playing it at 2 more so than 4, but I really like that aspect and the objectives that add a whole lot of replayability and some variation to the game.
Yeah,
And it looks beautiful.
And it is a gorgeous
yeah,
game with some
beautiful
really
game.
nice components. We just did a review of that recently too, so go check that out if you get a chance.
Absolutely.
So, my turn.
It's
You
your
done?
turn.
No more games?
No more games.
I'm going to start with what we played a lot of today for the first time. We played Who Goes There with the guys from Certifiable Studios. They came up here from Mississippi just to play this with us. We did a round 1, which is going to be up sometime soon, eventually, once
Probably
we
the
get
same time this comes out.
close to
Yeah.
when the same time this comes out. Probably a couple days after this. But this is I don't want to say it's just a social deduction, but this game it's based on the novel, Who Goes There, and you're all cooperating at first. You're in the Antarctic. If you're not familiar with Who Goes There, this is also what spawned the movie The Thing. So it's that setting. You're all cooperating, trying to build things that you need to survive, but then along the way, someone might get infected. And then you're suspicious and paranoid the entire rest of the game. And then more people might get infected. And the gameplay is such that it's not something where once you're infected, you don't want to just infect everybody. You kind of have to be careful. It's way more thinky than either of us thought it was going to be, which you'll see when I won't spoil much more of it, but you'll see it in the round 1. But definitely check this out. It was on Kickstarter. I think they have late backing right now.
Should be shipping very shortly to backers.
Yeah, and it's a gorgeous looking game too, so definitely check that out. Other than that, I too have played a little Dragon Castle, and I think I mentioned this last week too. I've played more Time's Up recently too. And again, if you haven't played Time's Up, just go get Time's Up and play.
What are you doing with your life? If you haven't played, come on.
Well, there's a lot of people who
Yeah.
haven't played Time's Up, right? But definitely get out there and get a copy of that game. It's a great family fun. It's not just family, but it's just a fun game to play, even though it's kind of like charades in a way. Don't let that scare you off, though. Go get a copy and try it.
It's a great icebreaker.
Oh, yeah. It's
Great
fantastic.
icebreaker.
I've never played... I can't imagine anyone playing Time's Up and going, nah. Like,
Or at least
it's
not
just
smiling.
fun. Right, it's fun.
It sucks you into the game.
It really does.
immediately.
Absolutely.
It really does.
I'll give my endorsement too for Blue Lagoon. It's a fantastic game.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it because it appears on the surface to be a very gateway game. Also looks like Moana. I mean, it looks like a Disney theme.
It does look like a
So
Disney
it's very
game.
deceptive when you first
Well,
sit down
it is
and
a
look at
gateway
it.
game, but it has so much depth.
And it has that
Right.
dual,
That's very true.
it has both the exploration and the settlement phase, which really break up the game and make you think about the game in 2 very different ways,
Well,
which
it's
is
really-
fantastic.
That's really cool, too, because you're effectively like playing the game kind of like twice.
Yes.
But with slight differences each phase.
Yeah.
You should check it out.
Super. And then also endorsing Who Goes There. Fantastic experience.
Jeremy's
today
just
with
going to
that.
endorse all of our...
Well, I do have one other one.
We're
but
setting
yeah,
them up.
the last one I'll talk about is Unlock. There are
Oh,
now
yeah.
9 unlocks that are available, and I played through all 9 of them. And they continue to be such a fantastic experience because they're so approachable to a huge amount of people just because of the nature of it's just a card game, right? It's a card game that everyone participates in, and it's like an escape room, right? The great thing is this series, at least the last 3 ones, presented to me the best one so far, and that's the Wizard of Oz one. And it's a 90-minute experience.
Which is...
And it's super thematic.
It's the only one like that, right?
It's the only one that gives you 90 minutes to play through. It is so much fun. Like, if you guys are into unlocks, or if you're like into escape rooms, you have to buy this game. You have to play it, or play any of the unlocks. I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised by the experience.
I'm a big fan of it. I've talked to some people, too, who... And I haven't played the Wizard of Oz one. That's the only one I haven't played. You played without me. But if you played even once and didn't have the greatest experience, try some more of them. Because once you get a few more of them under your belt and you understand how the system works, it is really good. In my opinion, it is the escape room game to beat. Because I think it's so simple and elegant.
Not only that, but they've been coming out in sets of, I think, 3 at a time. Yeah. And they just, each set of 3 has been better than the set before. So if you played maybe one of the first unlocks and thought, like we played Tombstone Express?
Yeah.
And it was just, there was stuff in there that I had never even, would have never expected to be in a unlock.
Yeah, and they're not easy
game.
either. If you think you're an escape room master and you're like, they're probably easy. The hard ones for sure are hard. But even, the one we played the other day was the easiest of the new ones.
It's challenging.
Well, we didn't beat it in an hour, so we didn't fail, but we didn't get it done.
You didn't have to announce that, though.
I'm sorry. It was his fault.
So you've sold me. I've not played any of the Unlocked series.
I'm so happy.
Really?
I'm so happy with this Unlocked trend, the whole escape room trend, this whole trend of graphic novels is such a cool idea. The way that games are expanding now to mass media is just, it's brilliant.
I absolutely agree. And what I like about the graphic novels and with the Unlocked series is that they're replayable. Right, so you can pass those off if you want to, and that's really forward-thinking and very thoughtful that they included those sheets to print off with the graphic novels, so that if you don't want to, if you're that type of person that maybe wants to pass it along or wants to play it and then not dirty it up and draw all over it, that's really great.
That's also,
and that's what I would like about Unlock.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons that I give Unlock sort of the nod, is because it's just the deck of cards. You're not destroying anything. You just reorganize them and give the box to someone. I mean, and
you're still getting that.
I'm sure they don't like us talking about sharing games with everyone and their other, but it's one of the good selling points.
But it's
like what, $14?
$15.
So you get each person buys their own, and then you just
between a game group or whatever, you
let them borrow one, they're probably going to go buy the next.
That's
couple.
Right. You get them hooked. I haven't played one.
So anyone been playing anything else, or is that it?
I mean, I'm still playing Rising Sun, so that's not going to be going away anytime soon.
Not Azul.
Yeah, don't talk about Heaven and Ale, please.
I haven't played Heaven and Ale in a while. Okay, Heaven and Ale was one of my favorite games last year.
Enough of Mind.
I've been playing
a
lot
that
of
we
the
don't
Mind.
love those games, publishers. We do
death.
love them. Yeah, but we do play them a lot. So that wraps it up for episode 20 of Chit Chat. Thanks again for commenting below. Remember to do that again if you want a chance to win Way of the Panda. Thanks also again to Broken Token, our sponsor for Chit Chat. If you don't have an insert for some of your more complicated games, for sure, with all those pieces just laying in the box, go to thebrokentoken.com and check them out, because I'm sure they probably have an insert for a lot of your games. Thanks a lot for watching. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter, and we'll catch you next time. Well, that's another episode of Chit Chat in the bag. Thanks for watching. If you want to check out another one, there's probably one right over here in the bottom left-hand corner, or probably your right-hand corner. Whatever corner, we have something to click on. So click on one of these things and good things will happen.